Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and on behalf of our caucus, we welcome and congratulate the Premier. And I have a question, Honourable Speaker, through you to the Premier. Will he commit to no new or expanded fossil fuel projects in British Columbia?
Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, and thank you to the Leader of the Third Party for the welcome. I look forward to working with her and her colleague in this place. Like the member, the government has a very serious concern about climate change and BC maintaining our position of leadership on the issue of climate change. That's why we have the Clean BC plan. The Ministry of the Environment has just returned from a global conference addressing these important issues, making sure that we are up to date and able to respond and ensure that our economy is one that helps respond to the critical issues of climate change, prevent climate change, and ensure strong and secure jobs for all British Columbians. On the specific issue of emissions from oil and gas, we have very clear legislated targets for 2030 and 2050, and any proposed project needs to fit within those targets.
Leader of the third party, supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Just to be clear, the question wasn't on emissions. The question was on new or expanded fossil fuel projects. I think it's very important that British Columbians learn from this Premier what his vision is, his vision on climate and climate action, and particularly when it comes to expanding fossil fuel projects. The conference from which the Environment Minister just returned, headed by the UN, the UN Secretary General has made it abundantly clear for years now. There is no room for expansion of fossil fuels in any country, and certainly not in BC, where we're nowhere near on track to meeting our emission targets in any way. So the Premier was recently quoted in the Globe and Mail, and he stated, quote, "We cannot continue to subsidize fossil fuels and expect clean energy to manifest somehow. We cannot continue to expand fossil fuel infrastructure and hit our climate goals." I agree with the Premier wholeheartedly on these statements, but here's his opportunity to make it very clear in this House and on the record. Will the Premier commit to British Columbians that there will be no new or expanded fossil fuel projects in this province?
Premier.
I and all of my colleagues are committed to the Clean BC plan, committed to hitting our 2030 and 2050 targets around emissions. We've been clear about that since forming government, and that remains our commitment to the third party and all British Columbians.